Good afternoon, Kings. Good afternoon, Kings. Let me hear you again. Good afternoon, Kings. All right. Thank you. I'm just excited to see you brothers right today. And so we're just going to continue with our workshop. And so my name is Clem Richardson. And so what we're going to do today is talk to you, and Curtis Richardson too as well. We're going to talk to you about life navigation. Say life navigation. So one thing about the life navigation is, my definition is something that was freely given to you in order for you to choose or follow a particular route. All right? I made that up. So if you try to make that up, I already got my name there. One thing about it is death and life come from the power of the tongue. According to Proverbs 18:21, if you continue to speak negative over your life, what's going to happen? Let me hear you say it loud. That's it. And so if you start saying positive things over yourself, then positive things will take place in your life. All right? And so what is your 2-year plan? You need to ask yourself that. Don't answer yourself that right now. But just think about it. What do you do to plan? How do you plan to accomplish those goals in the next 2, 4, or even 5-year plan? Because if you don't plan to fail, if you don't fail to plan, you plan to fail. Because there's someone that's waiting to make misery off of your situation. There's someone willing to make money off your situation. I put it that way. So there's people that sit around in boardrooms and watch you and study you and say, by the age 5, 6 years old, we'll be able to build prisons based on his reading scores. We'll be able to build prisons based on his behaviors. There's people that sit around and just wait for that. So if you don't have any goals for yourself, somebody else will find something for you to do. So let me ask you this right here. Do you think it's okay to use violence if you've been disrespected? If you think that, stand up. Do you think it's okay to use violence if you've been disrespected? Okay. All right, we got a couple of brothers standing up. So let me share something with y'all, man. Every 13 minutes, a child is arrested from a drug abuse. Every 15 minutes, a child is arrested for a violent crime. Every 8 hours, a child or teen is killed by firearms. Did you know that 91% of us have black-on-black violence towards each other? One of the key reasons is because what we see on the media and we don't like ourselves. And that started way back in historical time, for our slavery time. And so anything black that they put on the television that they show you is negative. But let me tell you that despite what you see on television, that's not who you are. Don't be defined by what they show on television. And so if you were taught self-hate, I'm going to hate you because you look like me, because I hate myself. And everything that was poured into me by some other culture. So in other words, I got to find out who I am as a person. So now today, the KKK don't have to do nothing. They don't walk around with those big hats on anymore, but they sit around the boardrooms and they make decisions based on us. That's violence. How many of you play video games by show of hands? Wow, this is the whole room in here. Okay, put your hands down. Thanks for being honest. Did you know that black folk, we watch over 38 hours of television per week? That's not for everybody, but if it applies to you, you need to pay attention. 50 minutes of that per day is commercials. You're watching 50% of that is violence, and the others is sexual acts on television. So by the time you're 13 years old, you've already seen over 100,000 imagery and over 8,000 murders that you've saw. And so you wonder why people act out the way they do so impulsively, because if you continue to watch negative imagery on television for especially violence over a period of time, you'll shoot somebody and don't even feel nothing. You'll shoot somebody and be numb to it. I don't care because he shot my family. I'm going to shoot him back. And so we have become so immune to violence in our culture, which is unacceptable. Did you know that 83% of our black children play more video games than any other culture and watch so much entertainment? Containment. That's what it means, to contain your mind, to put the poison in your mind. And we think that's how life is, what we see on the social media, but that's not the real deal. Also, what's going on in our communities with the drugs. If you with your teacher, don't raise your hand on this, but how many of you smoke some Loud Pack? Teachers, you'll know what Loud Pack is, that's marijuana. How many of you smoke that Loud Diesel? How many of you smoke that good, that icky sticky? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? That icky sticky. And so with that, one thing about marijuana, if you start, let's just deal with marijuana, because the youngest guy I know shoot heroin, he's 14 years old. Yeah. Marijuana is a gateway, believe that. The marijuana of today, you start off social. You might use it with your friends, then you might listen to the video game. Dog, it's burning my throat, dog. Hold up, pass that. Give me some eye drops so my mama don't find out. Give me some cologne. But one thing about the marijuana of today is different from the marijuana in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. The marijuana of today has more chemicals on it. No matter how they try to talk about legalizing and all that kind of stuff, it's more poison on it compared to the marijuana of the 80s and the 90s was more genuine, like Sesame Gold, but well, anyway, it was more real weed. So the earlier onset you start smoking it, the more you apt to become addicted to it. So if you start at 12, 13, jumped off the porch smoking weed, by the time you're about 18 to 20 years old, you already got that full-blown addiction. The medical model says that, I'm happen to be a therapist, says that chemical dependency is a primary, permanent, progressive disease that usually results in death. I call it a dis-ease. It disrupts your thinking. So if you start smoking now at 12 and 13, when you turn 25, you still act like a 13-year-old. It stops your growth mentally. If you at 14, 15 start smoking, and by the time you're 35 and you're still throwing tantrums, that's a problem. It stops your growth. And so I got a picture of DMX right here. The brother is a phenomenal, he's a wise brother, but he dealt with so many issues that he couldn't really allow his artistic talents to show through because of his drugs and alcohol abuse. How many of you want to be rappers? About a show of hands up here. Give me a show of hands. Come on. Rappers. All right. That's cool. All right, half of the auditorium want to be rappers. But did you know that majority of the rap corporations, rap companies are owned by Jewish and Italian men? Did you know that they making money off your misery? Did you know that a young thug, his only net worth is only $3 million? Well, the owner of the company makes over 400-something million. Where did you know that how Young Thug them talking about people, he calling them garden tools and animals? You know what I'm talking about. They call them garden tools and animals. I gotta get y'all some catch up. But anyway, so they call them the different names that's called. And anytime you rap and you talking about negative things that's going on in your community, you talking about shooting someone, you talking about using drugs, it's okay to be an addict. It's okay to drink purple or lean. It's okay to take Molly's. It's okay to drink promethazine and syrup. It's okay to do all that kind of stuff like that. That's promoting genocide in our communities. But one thing about the Jewish population, corporation, they making money. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Y'all wanna know the secret? You wanna know the secret? The secret is Craig Coleman kids don't rap about what's going on. They sitting at the boardroom getting paid. The Irish community kids sitting at the boardroom getting paid. They're not rapping about the negativity that's going on in their community, but we do. We got to change our life so we can navigate and start doing the right things. We got to stop selling out and start doing what's right. Now, if you're going to rap, let's talk about something positive for a change. We got enough thugs, hustlers, killers, addicts. Okay, we already know that. We need some lawyers, some doctors, some engineers, some preachers. We need some lawyers who can bail some of y'all out of jail. Come on now. And so with that, what's wrong with this picture right here? Stand up and talk to us, young brother. Listen up. Okay. That's what will happen to you. The white kid gonna be at home and you're gonna be in jail. Possession of a controlled substance is a $1,000 fine with 6 months in jail. With the second time you get caught, it's 3.5 years in jail. The third time you get caught, according to Scott Walker, them laws, 3 strikes you out, they're locking you down. It's a wrap. And so with that, we have over 2.1 million people that's incarcerated in the United States. Half of that is African Americans. Half of that. We have more people locked up than we did in prison, than in slavery. We have more blacks incarcerated than we had in prison. So with that, they make money. It's called the prison industrial complex. It's called the pipeline to the prison line. They're shutting down schools and they're putting you in prison for nonviolent crimes, possession, a fight, disorderly conduct, traffic tickets, all kind of stuff. We still deal with a lot of different issues, y'all. So if you continue to do and you're around negative people that's doing those certain things, you want to choose your choices wisely because you want to navigate and get away from those negative things. Does that make sense? How many of you know this young brother right here? This little chicken, right? And little young Dougie, right? YPN. YPN's, yes, in the bathtub with all the money. And little chicken, yeah. So anyway, I hear a lot of talking. Y'all must know a lot about this dude. Let me share something about you. I work with this young brother right here. And so right now he's walking around with a GPS monitor on his ankle. So one thing about it, let me share something with you. The drug culture is only 15 minutes of fame. They will lock you down if you get caught with some drugs. And if your guy riding with some drugs in the car, you going down with him. Because he's gonna throw you right up under the bus. And so with that, man, we gotta look at other positive things to navigate us through life. Selling drugs is only 15 minutes of fame. That's it, that's all. We got some life issues. So we got a genocide that's going on in our community. What's genocide? Genocide is deliberate killing a large group of people, especially those of a particular ethnic group. That's us. The media killing us, society is killing us, and we're killing ourselves. We're dealing with racial profiling. It's domestic terrorism that's going on in our communities. Anytime you kill a black young man and he don't have any guns, that's domestic terrorism. That's illegal. That's criminal. What's going on right now in our community? So I'm saying with you, when you go through life, there's people that's going to stereotype you based on the melanin in your skin, based on how you look, how you walk, how you talk. You're a threat. Don't you know that you're an intelligent young man? Don't you know that you are a king? Did you know that you are a gentleman? Did you know that you are a scholar? And so you're going to be faced with certain situations in this life, but you want to navigate through those systems. So I want you to share, we're going to share some serious stories with you, all right? A couple stories, and we're going to be out your way. Brother Curtis.
How y'all doing? I ain't gonna be before you long. I just wanted to come up here and share a little bit of my story. My name is Curtis Richardson. Clem is one of my brothers. I came up in a single family home, one mother, My mother and my father was around, but he wasn't in the house. I think I came up in a pretty good home. You know, my mother raised 7 kids. My father has 21 kids, and I'm the youngest on both sides. I have a sister that was a year older than me. We used to, me and my brother and them on my mother's side, we used to go fishing to Great America, stuff like that. We used to have functions and family reunions and stuff. And so my father took us to meet our sisters and brothers on his side, you know, on the other side of the family. And I had was over there with my sister. Her name was Riri, and she introduced me to some alcohol. My father was an alcoholic. And so he used to hide his drink in the cabinets and stuff. But my sister used to bake and cook and stuff. And so she found some alcohol. And I was like 12, 11 years old. And I tasted the alcohol. Wasn't a problem. So after that, I started getting in trouble in school and smoking a little weed. I ended up going to the detention center. I was in DT. I tried to kill myself while I was in DT because I was afraid. I didn't want to be in jail. I was away from home. I wasn't with my mother. I wasn't with my family. I was afraid. And so after that, I got out. I kept being bad, disrespectful to my mother. And so the system took me away from home. They put me in a group home. I get out the group home. I was gang banging. I joined a gang. So I ended up going to Wales. When I ended up in Ethan Allen, I had called home, check on my mother and stuff. And she said, if I tell you something, you ain't gonna act a fool this year. I said, no, I'm not gonna act a fool. What's going on? She said, your sister killed herself last night. So my sister had hung herself at my father's house when I was at the age of 17. And it devastated me because we was very close. After that, life had stopped for me. When I got out, I was very angry, very violent. I took out my anger and violence on anything that was around me, even some family members. I began to use crack cocaine. I became my best customer. At first, I was selling it, but I ended up using it. I used crack cocaine for over 30 years. I ended up catching a homicide. I went to prison, did 3 years and a half. I got out and caught a homicide. When I caught the homicide, I was facing life, no possibility of parole. My first wife came to the house correction and married me. She told me, you ain't gonna do life. I said, baby, you might as well go on about your business because I'm not coming home. They're gonna give me this time because of my background. I started riots in prison. They're gonna give me this time. I just gave up on life. By the grace of God, I beat the case. They dropped the charges because what was said didn't happen. I got out, I got married. Well, I got married in the house correction. And when I got out, we had a family. I was doing good, but I started back using drugs. And I kept wondering why I keep going back to these streets, man. Because I kept hanging around my old gang buddies. I kept using drugs, kept going to treatment, kept trying to get my life in order. But I kept going back. And so I lived up to this name, Crazy Kurt. That's what they called me, Crazy Kurt. So I was living up to this title that people had gave me. I was stabbing people, shooting people, doing all kind of stuff out of this world that I never thought I'd do. But I was trying to fit in, trying to be something that I wasn't. And so I finally got myself together and said, I'm done with this life. I'm done with this life. And the only reason why I was done with it, because I seen where I was going to. I had friends that was going to prison for the rest of their life. I've been to multiple funerals, as you can see, and that's just a few of them I put on this little board right here. But I had experienced so much trauma in my life and seeing so much trauma that I said I was tired of this lifestyle. And so I finally got myself together and went to treatment, and I haven't looked back since. You know, 10% of the problem was the drugs. The other 90% was my thinking and me not dealing with this trauma that I had been through, with me not dealing with the death of my sister, a suicide. You know, I just buried a brother last week, another one of my brothers. We buried our brother last week from a massive heart attack from an overdose of drugs. So I had to learn from that. I could have masked the pain by drinking and getting high, but that's not going to bring my brother back. So what I'm saying to you young brothers today, man, is it's time to be a leader and not a follower. It's time to learn something today, man. Don't make the mistakes that me and a lot of people that I know have made, or even some of your own family members. It's okay to laugh and play, but it's time to be serious. Our life is being snuffed out on a daily basis. We just seen a tragedy on the news. I'm sure all you seen it. This brother snuffed out a woman's life, and then a baby is gone as well. It's time for us to wake up, man. You young brothers are supposed to be our future. And we here to try to show y'all something, to teach y'all something, man. We're not here to down y'all. Y'all are young kings, man. And I wish the best for each and every last one of y'all, man. I want to see success stories. I have 7 kids. I got 6 boys and 1 girl. And I taught them well. I taught them well. I taught them about God, and I taught them about the streets. Now, y'all make y'all choice what y'all want to do. That's what I told them. And every last one of them work a job. And they doing the right thing today because they seen what their father been through. And I was always in my kids' life. For those ones that don't have a male figure in their life, I was always in my kids' life. In my addiction and out my addiction. And I'm grateful for that. Because my daddy was around, but he wasn't in our life. So for the ones that don't have a male figure, find y'all a positive role model. Hook up with somebody that's positive. And do what's right, man. With that, I'm done. Love y'all.
All right, let's give it up for Brother Curtis. Okay, my situation was pretty much, like I said, we come from the same situation. And coming up in 21st in Vienna, grew up over there. So pretty much did what I needed to do as a young kid. So about the age of about 12, 13, started experimenting with marijuana. One of my older brothers who pretty much, he has a different, my daddy was Papa was a Rolling Stone. Whenever he laid his hat was a home, right? You heard that song. So one thing about it is he cheated on his wife and had me and my younger brother. So we was a kept secret or whatnot. So about 12 or 13 years old, one of my older brothers introduced me to marijuana. So he said, this is how you bag it up. This is how you sell it. This is what you do. So I started selling marijuana about 12 or 13 years old. Needless to say, he physically abused me and verbally abused me. Told me I never amount to nothing. Hit me upside the head with a bat and said, let me tell you something, nigga, you're not my brother. So I had a lot of resentment and a lot of anger towards him. So with that, he had went to prison, I think federal prison or something like that. And so he gets back out of prison and moves back in. I think he did only a few years. I think I'm like 15, 16 years old. He said, hey, I want you to get the baking soda. I said, what's that? He said, go grab a baking soda. So I grabbed a baking soda. This guy's like about 26, 27 years old. I'm like 14, 15. So he said, this is powder cocaine. This is how you bag it up. So by the age of 15, 16, I had my own marijuana bag. I had my own powder bag. And that's what I was doing. So one thing about it, anybody got a nickname by show of hands? All right. So what's that in family? So the nickname, if you know somebody's name is Smooth next time, watch how he carry himself. If you know somebody by the name of Ice next time, watch how he carry himself. If you know somebody named a Killer, stay as far away from him as you can. One thing about it is I developed a character that went along with my behavior. My name was Sea Dog because I was dogged out as a kid. So I dogged anybody else out that came in my presence. And I was Seville because my sister was a prostitute and she showed me how to manipulate women. And so that's what I did when I go to the club. And so you put on different masks in different areas, depends on where you at. And so with that, that's what I did. So that became a part of my life. So I'm in high school selling weed, selling powder cocaine. So by the time I get out of high school, 17 years old, my goal was to get into the military and go into the Air Force. That was my goal. But how many of you know something else happened, navigated towards my life? So in that, my sister had committed suicide during that time. And so me seeing, because he was incarcerated, I go to the house, see her body laying there. That just messed me up. So anytime you use drugs or alcohol, you got to use it to medicate to cover up the pain or whatever you're dealing with. And so with that, I medicated that to try to deal with those voices that was inside my head. So I had a lot of anger and resentment, a lot of misplaced anger, mad at my dad because he wasn't there. I see him driving down Capitol Drive. Me and my brother and my mom would be on the bus stop on Capitol, Teutonia and Capitol. He ran through there with his Fleetwood Broham in the wintertime. We sit up there freezing on the corner. I looked at my mama and said, Mama, you don't have to worry about a car no more, because I'm going to take you wherever you need to go. So about 18 years old, I went to Big Bills and bought me a car. And I drove her wherever she needed to go. I gave her flowers until she left here about 10 years ago. But anyway, so I'm doing what I need to do. Got out of high school. So my sister, the one that was a prostitute, paged me. She said, come over here. So I come over. I said, what's happening? I got that weed. What? She said, no, I want you to look at this right here too. She said, can you loan me a couple $100? I said, that's a little steep now. So I look, and she's quiet, and they got this big torch with a cotton ball on the end of it. Come to find out it was freebasing cocaine. So she had a nice looking friend, I wanted to get with, you know what I'm saying? She looked real nice. So I said, what's her name? She said, Lori. Okay, let me holler at Lori. I freebased the cocaine at 19 years old. First time. Didn't feel nothing, didn't like it, left. Long story short, things began to happen. We're involved in that lifestyle. One of my homies got killed. May rest in peace, Mikey Martin. Shot on 24th and Capitol. His brother died in his sleep. Kenny May rest in peace. Those were my dudes. Also, Mooney was shot and killed too, as well. So I'm dealing with all these multiple murders and what's going on around us in this community right here. Long story short, man, we got connected with some guys from Compton, California. And so they would pull up on us. They got these big old hot flannel shirts on and 90-degree weather. What's up, homie? I said, my name's Sea-Dog, man. Don't call me. Anyway, he said, man, do you know what this is? I said, what? He said, oh, this right here is crack rock. I said, why they call it crack? Because it crackles when you smoke it. So me in that lifestyle was very curious. Guess what I do? I try stuff, and I liked it. For the next 15 years, I was involved in that lifestyle. End up going to jail, drug possession, end up going to jail, battery, all those different types of things. Life spiraled out of control. And so with that lifestyle, I wanted to let you know, after 15 and 17 years being in that lifestyle, in 1996, I got out the halfway house, didn't look back. Today, I got an associate degree in theology. Today, I got a bachelor's degree in human services. When I was at Vincent High School, I was a .00 student. When I went to college, I was a 4-point student on the dean's list for 2 years. Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Then from there, I went and got a master's as a professional counselor. And sometime this year, I'm going to sign up for my doctoral program. So let me share something with you. It don't matter where you start at. It's where you finish. Don't allow society to navigate to you or dictate to you how you're supposed to live. Y'all hear me? So you come from greatness, man. You come from greatness and society and the racism and all those things that's trying to stop you, or even your own community, or even your own people in your family might try to stop you. But you have to look in your face and look in the mirror and let yourself know that you are great. You are great despite what you're going through. So for 30 years from now, it won't matter what kind of shoes you wore. 30 years from now, it won't matter what kind of belt you had on. 30 years from now, it won't care what kind of slugs you had. What will go on in 30 years from now is what you learned and how you used it. Thank you for having us. My name is Mr. Richardson and Mr. Kurt Richardson. Let's give it up for it. Any questions? All right. Thank you. Question.
Thank you very much. Oh, go ahead.
Kurt, you got a
question?
Is he the one that slapped you with the bat?
No, it's an older brother. No, it was my older brother that he made rest in peace. He's deceased right now. But yeah, it was him. But as I got older, I got my lick back. Yeah, I put the flu flops on him, young man. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Wonderful.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. Thanks to the presenters for stepping in. No, I said thank them for stepping in. Okay, we're coming to the end of our program today. I know some of you have to head off to the buses, so we're going to kind of go through a quick closing. I will first want to say thank you all for coming out to the 6th Annual Summit. I want to apologize for we had some presenters that didn't show up today. I don't know what happened to them, but thank you for your patience, and we'll work on that for next year. Also, too, I want to now bring to the stage our closing speaker, Mr. Alfonso Watkins.
Yes. How y'all doing, young soldiers? How y'all doing? Thank you. Once again, y'all, we can not just keep saying how much we appreciate you young brothers coming out and fellowshipping with us today. Hopefully you were able to get some information that is going to be life-changing for you. We need for all of you to understand that y'all are at a very critical stage of y'all human development. I'm still here and talking. Could I have everybody's attention, please? Once again, young soldiers, y'all are at a very critical stage of y'all human development. And we need to understand that most of y'all who are in this, where my 6th graders at? 6th graders. 6th graders, where you at? 7th graders. Okay, 8th graders. All right, thank y'all. What y'all need to understand, those who are in the 6th grade, y'all got 6 summers and y'all will be 18 years old. Those in the 7th grade, you have 5 summers and you will be 18 years old. My 8th graders, you have 4 summers and you will be 18 years old. How are you preparing yourself to be a man? What type of man are you preparing yourself to be? So the question becomes, at this stage in the game, young brothers, we need for all of y'all to be educated. We need for all of y'all to be functionally literate. We need for all of y'all be able to read and write, and we need for all of y'all focus is to be getting to this campus. I'm still here and talking. Y'all have received a lot of information today. And once again, we understand that, at y'all stage of development, y'all got a little more energy, but y'all gonna have to get some discipline about y'all lives and start taking control of the education that y'all are receiving. We need for y'all to be able to get to this campus, y'all. We are not getting enough of y'all to the campus. So we need for y'all to invest in yourselves and at least get here. So you can say, at least I got to the campus, and if I don't like college, that's cool. If you don't like college, you're gonna have to get you a trade. You're gonna have to get you a trade and as a plumber, a carpenter. They got MATC is one of the best trade schools in the country. They have over 60 or 70 degrees that you can go down there and get you a trade in something that where you can make a lifestyle, where you make enough money to take care of yourself, your queen, and your shorties. So we got to get y'all to start understanding your investment, your product is you. So in many cases, once again, this opportunity that y'all had to be on this campus, we hopefully that you have enjoyed it. But when you turn 18, we need for y'all to be with your attention and your intentions to get to somebody's campus if it's not here. So with that said, is Ramona, is she nearby? Ramona, could you please come up here, Ramona? To my young soldiers, my Latino brothers, my African brothers, my Caribbean brothers, we cannot do nothing without our woman. That woman has carried us for so many years. And we want to acknowledge Ramona. Ramona is the backbone of this program. It was some men, it was some founders, the elders had an idea, but this sister right here has put the work in to make sure that this program has been. Could we give her a round of applause? A number of us have signed this card, but once again, we just wanted to acknowledge her, to let her know that we appreciate her. We appreciate her hard work. I know this sister has stayed up into the AM hours making this happen for y'all. So the card reads, too often life just rolls along and we don't take the time to tell those who we have touched our lives in some special way how much they mean. You have such a good heart, and I and others want to share to be sure that you know how much we appreciate what you have sacrificed for this program. So once again, Ms. Legg. Okay. She act like she real shy, but she a hard-working sister. So once again, y'all, in closing, we hope that this program or this opportunity to be on this campus is giving y'all some insight that we need y'all on the campus. We need for y'all to get serious about life. And I'm gonna keep saying this, as many brothers have said, we love y'all. We've got y'all best interests at heart. So with that said, I'm gonna turn it back over to Baba. Yeah. And Baba is Swahili for father. That's what Baba means, it's Swahili. All right, this is our Baba right here. UWM Baba. All right, big brother.
Thank you. I love you. Thank you, Alfonso. And again, thank you, Ramona, for all you do. This concludes the summit for 2019. Thank your sponsors, your schools, your chaperones. I want to thank them all for coming and spending the time with us today. And we look forward to hearing from you during this feedback session, during the assessment. So anyway, your buses are here, so start heading back to the buses. Thank you very much.